let's begin with the most recent award and recognition bestowed upon you. Tell me a little bit about your emotions and were you expecting this?
I was completely surprised by the award. I actually knew I was nominated for the award and kind of was notified a couple weeks before that I was nominated and that there was a number of nominees and would I please come to the event, that we wouldn't know until the day of the event. And so I think I was a little bit afraid of actually going and being, I don't know, just let down. So I just didn't allow myself to think, that it could possibly happen. And at one time I talked about having my husband come along and my family come along, and I thought, no, I'm making too big of a deal out of this thing. So I just invited Alice Ann, who's one of my key people here at BX Civil and Construction, and she and I went out and we did some customer visits and got the opportunity to go out and spend an afternoon at this event. And so when we were sitting there and they start to announce the award and they start to describe the person who is the award, I realized, oh my gosh, this is really happening, and the tears started to flow, and so I mean it was really a special thing for me and stuff. You don't seek that kind of recognition, but it is certainly an honor and certainly makes you feel worthwhile and like you're making an impact on the industry. So.
Well, not only that, but it really has to be a boost to the immediate family here, your company.
Yeah. I came back and, the funny thing was that they all knew. And so, they basically told me that it wasn't, that I wasn't going to know until that day. So the people giving the award told me that. But my husband knew and my family knew and the people here knew and stuff. So I immediately got texts that afternoon and everybody was, congratulating me and that kind of thing and stuff. So it was definitely, it was nice. But and even when I received the award, the reality is that you don't get those kinds of things without the people around you. I mean, it's never been about me. It's been about the people that are around me. And so in reality, I feel like we all got the award because of what we've been doing here at BX Civil and Construction and the great team of people that I have. And honestly, the great family that I have, both here at work and at home. From my parents to my sister to my husband and sons, just the people that have supported me and make it happen for me. So.
Let's talk about the work family. You've recently, over the last several months, gone through a name transition or a combination of. Mm-hmm. How has it worked?
It has worked really well. It was a journey for us. We really started looking as a company as to where we wanted to be in the next 3 to 5 years and really where we want to be beyond that. And the neat thing about our name change, it wasn't that I, put my finger on the desk and said, we're going to change the name. Although I've wanted to do that for about 10 years, very subtly and not really spoken, and not a lot of people knew that I wanted to do that for about 10 years. But as we started looking at what our future was and what we wanted to be as a company and how we wanted to be seen in terms of recruiting people, in terms of the kind of work we wanted to do, that kind of thing, we just kept coming to the fact that maybe a name change was one of the things that we needed to do. And really the team came to me, really my team and my family here said, I think that, we've kind of brought this idea up and we haven't rejected the idea. Are you in favor of the idea? Because if you're in favor of the idea, we think that it makes a lot of other things we want to do happen a lot more effectively. And so then we went along that journey and we made that decision. So we kept it a big secret pretty much all of last year and then announced it in November. But we feel like it's been awesome for the team, to unify the team. It's also been awesome in terms of attracting and recruiting people to our team. And one of the things is that the name is very value driven. BX stands for Be Excellent, and it's actually the summation value. When you look at our values, it's the value that sums up all of the other values as excellence. And so for us, it not only tells people that that's who we are, but it also forces us to live to that standard, to say, okay, our name, not only do we say that's our value, but our name is our value and stuff. So, I think it even makes us question decisions we make on a daily basis. It's like, okay, does this really epitomize who we want to be as a company? So whether it be in hiring, whether it be in, making a decision about how to treat somebody as a subcontractor, whether it is in our relationship with our vendors. However it is, it gives us that core value of who we are. So
As we sit here, you can see and you can hear the passion in your voice for this business, your leadership in the community as well. So let's talk for a moment. Is Del Rapids progressing the way that you hope that it will continue to progress?
I think Del Rapids is actually really on the cusp of actually making a lot of changes, and they've been really subtle and slow to come, which is probably good for a community like Del Rapids. I think you can be someone who sees a lot of communities, and you can sometimes get impatient with the time it's taken for Del Rapids to get there, but I really feel like it really has kind of come to the point where we're ready for development, we're ready for growth. We have the mindset that that's not a bad thing, that that's a good thing, that it's a good thing to attract families to our community. We have such a vibrant community. We are so lucky because we don't really have to create something that a lot of other communities have to create. We have a beautiful community. I mean, you drive into this town and people that aren't from here, I've had friends that are from Ohio and from Illinois come to visit, and they're like, wow, this is just a beautiful place. So we're so lucky to have that. And so, it's nice to start seeing us capitalize it with the things like the county fair store coming into town. Building a new store on the north end of town. The road projects that are happening. Our parks are just phenomenal and stuff. So, I think that we are really at the point of really breaking loose.
It's the type of community you sit right now. We're going through the construction phase with the signs and some of the minor delays. But as people look at the end result, I think their patience is withstanding. And of course, there are so many activities constantly going on with our youth right up through the adults. But the youth activities are amazing in this community. Just talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, I have been lucky to be the mother of two sons, so who've been very active in sports their entire lives, and whatever the activity it might be. But that's just where they have chosen to spend their time, and I have a really passion for baseball because they have a passion for baseball. We also have a passion for golf. I think golf is just it's been a key thing to our family to be a part of the golf community here. So those two things to me are two, and some people would think of those as competing activities. Our family has really blended those two sports together, and we've used the golf as something we do together. We can do that with my parents. We can do that, I did with the kids when they were 5 years old. But baseball is something as a spectator sport that I watch, and it just seems to have that summer relaxation that sometimes the winter sports don't have. It's just so nice to just sit and watch the boys of summer, if you will, and stuff. And so we've watched that from, I remember T-ball and coach pitch, and I remember actually my oldest son's first Little League team and having these baby blue T-shirts that said Dell's Plumbing, I think, was the sponsor or whatever at that time. And I think back to, these, I don't know, but they were 8 years old or whatever, in these baby blue shirts and competing with other communities around town. And they really grew up competing with the other communities around and becoming friends with those kids that they competed with. So for me, as a female, and not really growing up at a time where sports for girls weren't a big deal, watching that, what sports bring to your kids is just really great. And the community, I like the summer because both schools come together for those activities and that kind of thing. And obviously I'm a supporter of both schools, and I like the winter activities too, but for me, the place in my heart is the summer activities with the golf and the baseball.
You get to intermingle with your friends and socialize and watch a ball game. And speaking of which, I imagine we'll see you out at the district tournament in late July as well.
Absolutely. I'll be watching my son and hopefully watching PBR make their way to the state championship again. So.
Thank you for visiting with us.